Well, howdy folks, and welcome to one of the most unique situations I've had in a long time in the shop. What you are looking at here is the guts out of about a 40-year-old Hobart Welder. Yeah, a Hobart Welder, one of the big suckers. You know, the ones that weigh like 400 pounds, sit in the back of a 97 F-250 dually flatbed diesel truck with a dog tied to it. Yeah, this is it. This is the old rusty sucker. And it was owned by Dr. Bob, who does not believe in oil changes, so the engine itself is totally fried. It needs new piston rings. And we've tried to strip it down as far as possible as we can get, and then we got stuck. You got the armature on here, which is what spins inside of the welder on the brushes to create the electricity, which flies down the wire into the welding rod, connects to the ground, boom, boom, you're melting. And the problem is the armature is on a shaft, which is on a coupling that goes on the crankshaft. And this thing is froze up on there. She's rusted solid. We have tried beating it with every hammer in the shop. We got pry bars, we got, everything. And we can't get the sucker off. So what we're gonna do a little bit of a redneck experiment. It's gonna involve pneumatic power plus hydraulic power, plus a little ingenuity and a little danger. And we're gonna see if we can pop this sucker right off. Are you curious if this is gonna work? I am too, so I figured why not film it? So let's go ahead and zoom in. We're gonna look a little closer at the situation and then we're gonna go for the money shot. Stay with me. All right, folks, we have got a great shot at the tip of the shaft. Now this shaft is what's pressed on the crankshaft down on this thing here. And it's about probably a foot long, and it's a big hollow shaft in there. And the tip of this one is threaded, which allows you to thread a bolt in there. So this is gonna give us some different options. Now, the first option that everybody does is they get a long piece of metal, something like this, 3/8 inch bar stock. It slides in there as tight as possible. You'll slide it all the way down in there, and then you're gonna cut it where it ends right about there. And what that's gonna allow you to do is tighten this bolt down. It's gonna push on that piece of bar stock and pop it off. But that is no fun at all. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna take transmission fluid. Yeah, I got this fancy, that qualifies, right? We're gonna fill the hollow area of the shaft up with transmission fluid, which is very similar, essentially is hydraulic fluid. And then we're gonna take a bolt. I found the thread to this hole with my new fancy thread jingle is 7/16 by 14 thread. So we're gonna fill this thing all the way up. I'm gonna take this bolt, we're gonna wrap the piss out of it in Teflon tape, and then I'm gonna screw it down in here with a whole lot of force. And in theory, all that hydraulic oil is gonna get caught in there. We're gonna put so much force from the top, it's gonna push the whole thing right off, and it's gonna be fabulous. All right, let's do this. This is definitely a Kid Rock inspired video. I gotta get my step stool out to get up on this contraption. So the first step in our process is we fill it full of hydraulic fluid, transmission fluid. I'm sure you can use oil, but we're being official. And this sucker is gonna fill up. Now, one thing to remember about transmission fluid is that it does eat away rust. So you might leave this set overnight for a little while and let it help you out. All right, now we're filled up. I've got my bolt wrapped up in Teflon foil. One thing, do not use a bolt that's too long. Go ahead and test out how far it's threaded and only use that size bolt because you don't want to screw things up. All right, let's go ahead and start. I got lots of Teflon tape on it. Oh yeah, it's already tightening up, folks. All right, now I'm gonna use a lot of horsepower cranking on this bolt. So what we got the Nitro Cat 112. This thing is like 1,000 pounds of pressure. We're gonna put her on full forward, and I'm just gonna crank, and we're gonna see what happens. So hang on, let's do it, baby. Let's see, I gotta admit I'm a little nervous. What? It popped. Holy cow. I felt it pop. I felt it pop. Okay. Let's reverse. Oh, lost the bolt. Gang, I heard that sucker pop. Hang on. Let me pause real quick and do an analysis. Okay, we had some limited success on that rip that we just did. If you look here, we're about half an inch higher, so it did pop it off the initial, but it's not all the way off. And what I just realized, the beautiful thing about fluid, you don't have to get a different size part. We'll just add a little more hydraulic fluid in her, which will fill up that extra gap, and then we're just gonna crank again. So go ahead and top her off. This is crazy. All right, and I did rip off most of my Teflon on my bolt, so I went ahead and re-Tefloned her. And then let's do it again. So now it is refilled up. We should be able to crank on it. And I don't know. Let's see if it pops off. Make sure to use as much pressure as you can get. And I'm gonna let it rip. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She's coming off real easy now. So what I would do is just keep repeating. Yep. Every time I do that, it rips the Teflon off. And it is definitely heating up this bolt. This kind of goes along with my hat. Teflon Don, Kid Rock. I'll tell you what, we are getting her done today. All right. Again, we moved it up probably another ½ inch. So what I'm going to do, re-Teflon, just give her a little top off. I think she's running low on oil. There we go. A couple bubbles, couple bubbles. All right. Let's see if we can get her started again. Hopefully I didn't screw up the threads already. There we go. And we're going to give her another crank. This is going to come off. I have some faith now, folks. All right, and we're going to crank her back off. I think it's working. I can see where we've got some more leverage. So, we've lifted it about a foot off there. Let me try one more time, and I'm really going to coat her up to push her off. I think the Teflon is what's wearing out on me here. Apparently, hydraulic fluid and Teflon may not mix well. Ugh. Sometimes it's better to work smarter than harder, but I better shut up because I'm getting a little too cocky with my new method yet that hasn't quite worked all the way. All right, there we go. We're topped off. Probably a good idea to use a washer so you don't totally jack up your bearing on there. Let's go ahead and give her another crank. I think this is going to be it. Whoa, settle down there. All right. Let me see here. Man, I tell you what, it's getting higher every time. What I'm going to try a couple whacks here. Oh, shit. We had so much promise. All right, folks. I think it's officially time to go to plan B because I'm losing pressure on here. I'm losing pressure. There's hydraulic fluid coming down. It did make an initial pop off, but for the next step, we're going to try the mechanical method and see if that works any better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and, now the whole damn thing's full of hydraulic fluid. It's going to leak everywhere. I've made quite the mess on my hands. Stay with me. Don't give up on me. Okay. Time to move on to plan B, which happens a lot in the shop. This looks very safe, doesn't it, with my lift system? All right, enough chit chat. What we've got here, we've got the bar stock, and I've gone ahead and trimmed it, so it's gonna slide in here like so, hopefully just deep enough where we can still put pressure on that sucker, but you want it just long enough, just short enough, so you can catch a few threads, which we've done. Let's see if it, all right, you don't want to catch too many threads. All right, that's about perfect. So that's going to give us about 1 inch to drive this sucker in there. And so again, I'm going to put the Nitro Cat on full forward and see what happens here. Look at that. Yes. Oh shit. Be careful because these things are heavy. But let's go ahead and sum up the best ways to get a shaft off. Gosh, I've got to explain everything. A shaft off a crankshaft, specifically a coupler off a crankshaft. First of all, don't take hammers to it and don't take pullers to it. A lot of these parts are fragile. I've shattered a lot of plastic off the armature using hammers and all sorts of stuff. I definitely suggest using one of these two methods. Now on both methods, regardless of what you do, you're going to have the tip of that shaft is going to have to be threaded. Now on the Hobart Welder, it was already threaded. A lot of them will already be threaded. So that makes it easy. If it's not, go ahead and thread it. Get yourself a tap, thread it on there. And hey, if I was going to do it, I would definitely try the hydraulic fluid method first. You may not go with hydraulic fluid because I think the hydraulic fluid actually ate away at the Teflon tape, so maybe a thick oil might work better. Some guys using water online. I wouldn't use that. I'll use something real thick to go in there and seal it up. But if that doesn't work, the other method, I mean, it was a go-to. So that sums it up, folks. This was a fun one. Also want to say I really appreciate everybody watching these goofy videos. You know, when I'm having a hard day at work or whatever and I shoot one of these videos, it just puts me in a good mood. And the fact people are watching and interacting, it's just it's a real blessing in my life. And it allows me to learn as you learn, because most of these videos, a dirty little secret about my channel is I've never done this stuff before either. I'm just winging it and having a good time. So with that, I'm out. Thanks for watching this long, and we'll figure out something else to do next week. Mower Mike out.